Awesome. So we've got everything down. You guys are crushing it. Made it through the bulk of belief, which is awesome. Now we're going to transition over to autosuggestion, using autosuggestion to skyrocket the success that you have with the secret formula. Super, super awesome principles. So let's get over to the computer and start to make it happen. So the really, really important part of autosuggestion is emotional connection between the conscious mind with positive principles, happiness up front in your conscious mind that connects to your underlying subconscious. And through the dominating thoughts that you have, it's going to change your subconscious beliefs. And then those beliefs turn into actions, right? So that's what's actually going to affect your reality. So it's super important to master this part here so you can influence this part here. With that said, no thought, whether it's negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion, with the exception of thoughts picked up from the ether. Remember, this is the really, really powerful idea that once you have complete and total mastery of your mind, body, and your long-term goals, that you will start to just bring ideas together from different aspects of the world around you and use that as a subconscious way to create insane ideas, so that while you're sitting around relaxing, meditating, taking a walk, when you're at your minimum thinking state, right? So you're just chilling out, you're going to have those subconscious realizations. And that's really, really powerful because it allows you to have amazing ideas and uncover the solutions to problems that would otherwise be left as a problem, simply by walking away, chilling out, and saying, hey, let's let the subconscious deal with it. Because the subconscious is always thinking, always working, always grinding for you, whether or not your conscious worries about it. And that makes it really powerful because you can just rely on the principles that you've developed right now as you're watching this course and reading this book, as you're going through this content, to create the mold that your subconscious will fill of success. So very powerful. And then there's also ways to continually improve that, specifically through manifestation work and sounds and all those amazing principles that are developed throughout some of those awesome trainings that we've discussed earlier in the books and all that amazing stuff. So with that said, nature has it built that we have absolute control over the material that reaches our subconscious mind through our 5 senses, and we need to exercise this control. Remember, it's so important to have control over everything that you're feeding yourself, right? Like if you're trying to lose weight, you need to keep a control of your diet. It's the same thing with your mind. You need to control the diet of thoughts that are going in your mind, the diet of actions you're taking, the diet of surroundings in your environment. You need to change what's coming into your body, into your mind, to be positive so that you'll create a positive mindset. Super important, right? If you want to lose weight, you don't eat a gallon of ice cream. You try to maybe eat some meat, eat some beans, and eat some spinach, get fit, get swole, drink some protein shakes, and that's going to be so much better than, eating a cake, right? So think of that same idea, think of that same principle when you're thinking about what you're surrounding your mind with. And do you really want, do you want your body to look like a cake, or do you want your body to look like a protein shake? Same thing. Do you want your mind to look like a failure, or look like a success? Surround yourself with success and you'll succeed more. Makes sense. Don't go through poverty. Please. A great majority of people do not exercise their ability to control their intake. And because of that, they go through life in poverty. Subconscious mind is like a fertile garden spot in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown there. You need to plant for your success, or you will be overgrown with failure, and that sucks. And that's why it's important to start now, so that you can sow the seeds of success rather than leave it untamed and just let the wild come and take over. Don't want that. We definitely want that, right? So that's the principle behind taking control of everything you've done. And that's why we established the secret formula. Now, we're going to elaborate on that a little bit here because it is very, very, very important. And there are a couple of additional instructions on the secret formula here. And we're going to talk more about this later once we get to the mastermind section, which is super, super powerful with creating those long-term realities through application and assistance. But as we compare these different sets of instructions that you've created through auto-suggestion, you can see a ton of very important applications of principles of auto-suggestion. Remember, as you're reading your goal statements aloud, you need to be committed to them, right? So you're doing it twice a day. 2 times goal statements, which is awesome. But it's really important that instead of, just grumbling it out or moaning it out, you have to, I'm gonna write this in green because it's important, infuse emotion, right? You have to add that faith and that, this should be a goal that you want to accomplish that we've established in your secret formula is something that is you're so passionate about, that achieving it would make you so fundamentally happy. It would be an amazing, amazing, amazing experience for you. And as you go through developing your money consciousness by focusing on the secret formula, you need to interweave emotion and feeling into your words that you're speaking aloud as you speak your goal, as you say the secret formula. And because of that, day by day, you can't just go by with the basic stuff over and over, right? You want to take the time out. You're taking the time out to read your goal, or if you haven't memorized, which is awesome, recite it. You want to make sure that when you take that time out, you're in a completely secluded place. You can close your eyes. You can visualize, right? Visualize that money that you desire. Visualize that success that you desire. And then see yourself doing whatever it is that you want to do to create that money, right? And enjoy that experience. It should be an amazing, amazing separation between yourself and reality as you get to this point in the future where you are totally convinced and believe that this money is yours to come. And you can feel it, you can see it, you can tangibly create an image of it in your mind. As you close your eyes, come back and view your secret formula. Very, very powerful underlying concept. Remember, there's no such thing as something for nothing. You have to interweave and put the work in to create these emotional responses, to infuse this work, right? This is work. It's not easy. It's definitely easier just to say stuff and not worry about it. But when you connect with your overarching goals, and when you are so passionate about them that you put the work in to say them well and to recite them well and to use them as a passion factor to go and take action on them well, all of a sudden you get something for something, right? You put in the work, you're gonna get products, results out. Subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts that have been well mixed with emotion and feeling. So use that very, very powerful tool of your emotions. Emotions are so, so, so powerful. They will overcome logic in almost any buying decision, and you will use logic to justify it later, which is totally, totally cool, right? But the important part is to realize that generally logic follows emotion. And once you have that down, you can realize that you'll create the needed background and the needed materials to achieve your long-term goals, and you'll find the logic to do it after you create the emotional anticipation and response to your desire, so that you're so connected with it, you just have no choice but to figure out a way to do it. And once you figure out a way to do it, you go out there and you crush it because you've put in the work to believe in it, you put in the work to have confidence in it, and that leads to confidence in yourself, confidence in your goals, confidence in your ability to succeed, your ability for success. And because of that, you create tremendous, tremendous results in the marketplace. Very, very powerful, powerful underlying concept. You cannot apply just a little bit of this or go halfway on this. You need to go all in and put all these emotions in, because without the emotions, you're not going to have the results and you won't have the success if you can't apply auto-suggestion, right? Unless you're actually repeating everything in the secret formula and using that to influence your subconscious mind, pay the price, and emotionalize your belief so that your subconscious mind has spoken words that are so connected to you that you and you alone decide that they are worth the reward you're striving for. The effort you're putting in is worth achieving the reward that you're striving for. You cannot develop the desired ability for a lowered price. You will not lower your targets. Never will you lower your targets. That's what we talked about. Grant breaks down so well in the 10x rule. And we'll have the book review. You guys have seen all this stuff before. But you never, oh, I thought it was going to be red. It was going to be so cool. It was going to look awesome. You can't, have doubt or anything. It's all about going 100% and never shifting, never changing. It's so important because this influence is going to develop into an everlasting, persisting ability. And once you have that persistence, all of a sudden, the reward is there and you can achieve it and you can grow and you can get it. You can get the goods because you are money conscious, right? And where attention flows, money follows. There you go, right? Money consciousness. Super important to develop that through the secret formula to create the results that you want once you emotionalize it. So, you got that, which is awesome. Wisdom and cleverness alone will not attract and retain money except in a few rare instances where the law of averages favors the attraction of money through these sources. Remember, it's not just thoughts. You have to interweave those emotions. And to emphasize that, what Hill does is he talks about your ability to fail and overcome that failure as an individual because the methods don't fail, right? Individuals have temporary failures. But the methods don't fail in the long term, right? It's just like investing in indices, right? If you guys have gotten through 9 to noon, you know the insane power of long-term indices. This is that same idea that it'll work out in the long run with that belief and that growth as you attract the money described based on the law of averages, right? Not favorites. It's not luck. It's not chance that you're going to succeed. No one's... very small amount of people succeed because of luck, right? It's all based on this secret formula where they have this goal they work towards and they put in so much effort towards it, and then they achieve it and they crush it, and because of that they're able to get the results they want from the marketplace after they put in all that work to get something for something from the marketplace. You have to try, fail, make effort, and go again and again and again and again until you succeed. And that's why the methods don't fail, because the only way to lose is to quit. So he said so many times, that's the principle. Your ability to use the principle of autosuggestion depends very largely on your capacity to concentrate on a given desire until it becomes a burning obsession. Once you can create a burning obsession, all of a sudden, every single action that you take is so powerful. And this is why, this principle is very deeply developed in Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. And I've talked about this before, but I want to bring it up again because Be Obsessed or Be Average, you learn to actually take this overarching long-term goal and turn it into a lifestyle movement, turn it into your daily routine, turn it into something that you're proud of, so that all of a sudden you're separated from the individuals who don't see your success, who pull you down, right? I'll tell you what, there's this one example, and I don't usually show it, but you guys have gotten further into this course, and I think you guys can handle it. And that's why it's so important to be obsessed, is because if you're not, this will happen. So here's what happens, okay? There's a bucket, and in this bucket, you got some water because there's a fisherman, and the fisherman is having a really, really fun day. Everyone's doing great. And he's catching a whole bunch of crabs. I think crab, yeah, they're like orange crabs. So you got some orange crabs in here. Here's one crab, here's another crab, here's another crab. And what happens is, you know, there's this one crab over here. And this one crab, he is a nice little orange puff doodle. And he's trying to climb out. So he's got his little claws and he's trying to climb out of the bucket. And a lot of times, you know, he's catching more and more and more crabs. So there's another crab, another crab, another crab, another crab. There are so many crabs in this bucket that all of a sudden, this guy, instead of being here, he actually can jump on top of some of these other crabs, right? And these other crabs, because they're so big, they give him a little bit of a boost. And now he actually has a chance to get out of this bucket. He can escape and run free all the way home to his family. And what happens is really, really interesting. In this bucket, and the reason that the fisherman, he doesn't actually have to put a lid on this bucket. He doesn't really worry about a lid because he knows that this will happen. These crabs, they all see this one guy trying to escape, trying to run away and get free. And what they do is actually kind of ridiculous. They'll take out their little crab claws, they'll grab this guy on the back, and they'll pull him back into the bucket. They will drag him down so that he is stuck at the same level that they're at. Same social, same status level, right? Like they're all trapped together. And because of that, they don't want to let this one guy escape and be free, because it wouldn't make sense to their minds to say, well, why do we have to die, but this guy doesn't, right? So it's this idea that the overarching group will try to pull down the one who tries to achieve and grow. And this happens so often when you surround yourself with the wrong people. It's a very, very bad thing. And because of that, you have to make sure that you're not surrounding yourself with people that are going to pull you down, but rather you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to grab your hand and pull you up. This one concept can radically shift the way that you look at socialization and the friends that you make. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you have this mastermind group of people, and we'll develop this further throughout the book, and there's a whole chapter on it, so we'll get to it soon. But just remember this concept that you need to cut the people that are bad and stick with the people that are good. And the way you do that is being ridiculously obsessed with your long-term goal, that you have no choice, you have no option to be average, you have no option to be with these people, but you only associate with those obsessed people. And because of that, you get around the people that are succeeding, you get around the people that are crushing it with results, you know, in financial markets or in anything that you're working through. And because of that, you use it to create ridiculous fulfillment of your burning obsession. And once you fulfill that obsession, suddenly you achieve that overarching long-term goal. And that goal would change your life. So hey, I'll leave the book review of Be Obsessed or Be Average below if you're interested in that. Awesome. It'll add to this education a whole bunch. So with that said, let's get back over to Hill. So it's necessary for you to make use of the principle of concentration, right? You concentrate on finding the right group. You concentrate on creating the right environment. And when you do that, you know, that concentration is going to lead to results. I mean, if you focus on something long enough, you're going to like get stuff from it, right? Results are cool. So there's a suggestion that he offers to increase the effectiveness of the secret formula. And what he says is to, you know, you fix in mind the exact amount of money you desire. And because you have that exact number, you're able to concentrate very, very specifically on what the number is. And when you have a very specific number, that concentration leads to the results, leads to that specific number of cash, right? Whatever the number is, the exact number. This is a very exact amount, because you can't just have a vague goal and then, work towards it, right? It's so much more effective to have that very, very specific amount. And that's why when we created the secret formula, and we created your plan, we created your overarching long-term goal, we used that specific amount. And once you have that with concentration, you can actually see the physical appearance of the money. Do this every day, right? We're doing this over and over and over. You want to see yourself in possession of the money. And the most significant fact is that the subconscious mind takes any orders given to it in the spirit of absolute faith and acts upon those orders, although the orders often have to be presented over and over and over through repetition before they're interpreted by the subconscious mind. So it's like you're trying to overcome this hill, and you jump and you jump and you jump and you jump and you jump, and eventually one day you finally build up the muscle to overcome that hill, and you just have to keep doing it over and over to grow the strength that you need to get to this summit, to get to this peak, and create the results that you want in the marketplace. To see the physical equivalent of the money will lead to the possession of the money. It's like playing a trick on your subconscious mind. That's one way he puts it, right? It's like telling your head, hey, I deserve, you have to convince yourself, please, 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 convince yourself, right? Convince yourself that you deserve. And once you can do that, you can believe that you have any money, and the amount of money you're visualizing is the money awaiting your claim. The subconscious mind must hand over to you practical plans, right? You know the exact amount of money. The subconscious mind will work and grow and expand into the universe, into its deepest possibilities and objectives and ideas to create the plans needed to achieve this money and turn it into a reality. And all of a sudden, you create an insane power of imagination. Your subconscious transfers over these thoughts into your imagination. You can see what your imagination can see. And now you can't see the subconscious, right? It's hidden away, but it transfers that plan over to a state that you can see. You can see your imagination. You can see your thoughts. And because of that, this is the manifestation of what you're feeding your mind down here leads to the creation up here that you can then apply into the marketplace. Very, very powerful, powerful underlying concept. So begin at once to see yourself in possession of the money, demanding and expecting that your subconscious mind will hand over the plans you need. Be alert for these plans, and when they appear, put them into action immediately. Almost always when I've had this experience myself, and Hill says it right here, they will flash into your mind through the sixth sense in a form of inspiration. This inspiration may be considered a direct message from infinite intelligence. Treat it with respect and act upon it as soon as you receive it. Failure to do this will be fatal to your success. Once you get this insane idea from the world, make it happen at any cost. There is no question that this is the way to get to your overarching long-term goal. And because of that, and because you know that your long-term goal is so important, because you're saying it every single day, twice, all of a sudden you realize the insane importance to act and do the exact things that your subconscious tells you to do, to work towards that goal and work up the ladder, even if it doesn't make sense. I didn't get paid a penny for all the countless hours I spent writing 9 to Noon while I was writing it, right? Not until publishing did that impulse, did that inspiration actually translate into actual cash. As hundreds of people bought that book, like on launch day immediately. because you put the work in and you apply the exact ideas that come from your mind immediately with no question, because there's no one you can believe better than your subconscious and yourself. That's power. That's big power. Failure to do this will be fatal to your success. Alright, so you've got your long-term goal, you got your secret formula. You need to make sure that your reasoning is solid and that you don't want to be lazy with this plan, because this plan is your future and you don't want to disappoint your future, right? So because of that, you go 100%, visualize the money you want to accumulate, see yourself, this is really important, see yourself rendering the service. So for me, right, like I love trading 9 to noon, working with people, creating teams, building real savings and retirements for people. Like it's so amazing. And so you want to see yourself rendering the service you intend to give. Service you intend to give. So for me, that's like managing teams and then trading and then working in financial markets and helping tons of people with blockchain technologies, because that's what I love and that's awesome. And so because of that, I'm super excited to visualize that, and I use that as fuel to work towards that overarching long-term goal. And you want to make sure, right, like you got to put in a ton of work to get there if it's a big goal, and because of that, you want to make sure that you focus on the process, because you have to be addicted to the process to get to the result. It's all in the process. That's where all the joy is, where all the happiness is, where everything comes from. Because the process, you got the process. This is the vast bulk of the work. And only then at the very end do you get to the goal, do you get to that success, right? So for an example, right, like you're spending years and years creating a product, creating a software company, writing a book, I don't know. Then at the very end, you're able to take it into the marketplace and realize the value that you've created. This is where the abundance of wealth appears. It's at that last point, and we've talked about this before, right? So appears, yeah, cool. So these instructions are insanely important because they're going to give you that process to get to that goal. Because once you have this goal, you know where to go. So with that said, we have one last section here, and it's going to be our, finalization, polish off our secret formula. We can use that to create tremendous results. So let's go right into it. Here's the deal. It says it here, and because it says it here, I'm going to say it here. Because the fact that you're reading this book, listening to this course, watching this content is an indication you earnestly seek knowledge. It's also an indication that you are a student of this subject. If you are only a student, there's a chance you may learn much, but you learn only by assuming an attitude of humility. If you choose to follow some of the instructions but neglect or refuse to follow others, you will fail. To get satisfactory results, you must follow all instructions in the spirit of faith. Remember, you got to stay humble, you got to chill out, you got to make sure that, like this guy, right, he spent 25 years writing this book. He probably knows what the freak he's talking about. So take a moment and step back and say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to chill out, work around this, just follow what this guy says. Your life will change. It's insane. Okay? The instructions given in connection with the 6 steps, chapter 2, are now going to be blended with the principles. So here's the deal. I'm going to read this stuff out because it's important, and it's also going to inspire the change that you need. And it's also got some really good examples, and we'll look at those examples and we'll break them down and look at how we can apply them to you. Okay? Go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat aloud so you may hear your own words the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and a description of the service or merchandise you intend to give for the return of the money. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money, eyes closed. Suppose you intend to invest, you get 100 grand in the next 5 years by the 1st of January. Then you would write your written statement and make sure that you say you're going to have 100 grand by your date, right? This is the secret formula. And then your reasoning, right? Steps 2 and steps 4, right? Reasoning, what you'll do. And then you take this and you visualize the process. And when you visualize the process, you have joy and you have abundance and you have happiness from what you're doing. And you use that to then visualize the amount of money that you will possess. And once you do that, you can understand what you're going to do in return for the money. And because of that, it'll give you that visualization, right? You have to go out there and visualize the money in your possession. Super, super cool. And you're gonna, be more passionate. It just depends on what your long-term goals and what you want to do. But make sure that this statement here, like we talked about before, is, like a sizable amount of, it's specific, right? That's the important part. Size, like it can be as long as you want, but make it specific. You can act on specificity, but you can't really act on generalities. It just doesn't work. Then, you talk about the transfer of the proportion. Okay, so my faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I am awaiting to play a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. All right? Number 2 of 3. Repeat this program night and morning till you can see in your imagination the money you intend to accumulate. And then 3, place a written copy of your statement where you can see it at night and in the morning. Read it just before retiring and among rising until it has been memorized. Guys, this is pretty much the same as the secret formula. Now let me ask you a question. If this guy was going to write almost the same thing twice, and he was going to go over the same principles pretty much twice, and the same process pretty much twice, do you think it's important? I'll tell you what. This is the secret formula. This is the most important part of this book, and it's the entire basis on the rest of it. If you guys, you read the back of this book and you read the prologue for this book, there's a secret, a money-making secret, in every chapter, available to those that are looking for it, ready for anyone ready to find it. And once you start reading the book and once you get your copy of the book, you're already halfway there. And the rest of the process is finding the secret. I'm not going to go over the secret. I've talked about this before. But this is the basis, right? Is to actually get it going and crush it. Okay? So carry out these instructions. Remember that you're applying auto-suggestion through this, right? Applying positive auto-suggestion. Because of that, you're going to create positive results. To give orders to your subconscious to create positive things in your lives and focus on positive things in your life. You're emotionalizing it. You're feeling your goals. You're feeling your statements. This is being felt. This should have a deep resonation with your internal beliefs. And will act only upon instructions that are emotionalized with this feeling. Faith is the strongest and most productive of these emotions. So faith is like the best way, to instantly connect with everything here is having faith, having belief, having commitment. Follow the faith chapter, follow faith, and you'll have faith in your secret formula. These instructions may at first seem abstract. Do not let them disturb you. Trust this guy. Follow them anyway. The time will soon come. If you do as you've been instructed in spirit as well in action, when a whole new universe of power will unfold to you. Skepticism in connection with all new ideas is characteristic of all human beings. But you follow these instructions outlined, your skepticism will soon be replaced replaced with belief, and this in turn will become crystallized into absolute faith. You will arrive at a point where you can truly say, master of my fate, captain of my soul. Guys, this is insane. This is so powerful. So many philosophers, they've looked over this, and a lot of people don't know about controlling their subconscious mind, the gains that they get with the infinite intelligence. But this is why it's so important to control your earthly status, crush it, apply yourself with persistence, apply this mentality with persistence, and transmute your desire into money through autosuggestion, through these increased vibrations of your head and your soul and your internal long-term goal statements. You use that, and you're going to have these thoughts in your mind that will be conscious to the important principle of autosuggestion, the accumulation of money, money consciousness, and using those efforts to carry out your desire with the full faith of a little kid, right? You're so believable. You're everything. Everything. It all comes from this irrevocable belief, this insane childlike faith in yourself, your goals, and your life. Hill says, and when you guys get the book, this is page 77, read the entire chapter aloud once every night until you become thoroughly convinced that the principle of autosuggestion is sound, that it will accomplish for you all that has been claimed for. As you read, underscore with a pencil every sentence that impresses you favorably. Follow this instruction to the letter, and it will open the way for a complete understanding and mastery of the principles of success. Guys, this is really important. You have to have belief before you move on from this part of the book. You want to make sure that everything you are reading, everything you're listening to, everything I'm telling you, all this course content, you need to be, you got to believe in it, right? You have to have faith. Once you have that faith, you start to fulfill that subconscious desire, to fulfill those goals and create that success. And it all comes from that internal ability to say yes. So say yes to this book, say yes to these ideas, and allow them to fundamentally shift your entire life by creating tremendous results and achieving the exact amount of wealth you want by creating these long-term goals. They're going to absolutely change your entire life. It's insane, guys. It's so, so powerful. When I first read this book, I had to read this chapter a lot because it is a really, really big stretch to just go from nothing to go to, look, if I can think of something, if I can envision it and believe in it, I can turn it into a reality. That's something that's very difficult for a lot of people. So please, 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 if you need to do it, read over this book, read over chapter, read over this content. Personally, try to read this book once a year. That's what I do. It works very well for me. And it gives me this refound belief. So maybe if you just want to go through this course once a year, something like that, that's really what's going to give you this belief that it works. And you want to make sure at the beginning you're totally convinced in it, so that once you start embarking on fulfilling your long-term goal and taking action on the secret formula, you're in such a convincing position that there is no option but for your subconscious mind to give you success, show you the path to success, and for you to achieve that success by following those instructions. Take this to your heart, take this to power, take ridiculous advantage of these resources in front of you, and crush it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next module. Hope you got a ton of value from this. Check out those awesome resources below. They're very, very powerful, insane additions to this text. Thank you so much. I'll see you next.